kids are laughing so hard from upstairs and it's just dropping off. And I wanted to talk about narcissistic behavior, which is very serious. And I just need a minute to ground myself. Those kids are amazing. Life is never boring. Very intense, exhausting, at times, but never boring. Okay, I want to be mindful of your time. Thank you for joining me for this. Oh, give me a second. Just 2 seconds. Okay. So I am just meeting all of those people who have the experience of having a narcissist in their lives and they're not even aware. And it might feel uncomfortable to you that I'm speaking of like a narcissist, like that's really putting a label on someone. We can be respectful of a person. We are to be. These are deeply wounded people. We do not need to respect the behavior that is putting people down, that is intoxicating a whole workplace or a relationship, is not to be accepted. And there is consequences to follow, and consequences is the medicine. So I want to address it. I want to share the understanding that I do have for people who are suffering and are sensing that something is off, but I don't really know what. And my son is just laughing so hard from upstairs that I might crack in the middle of it. And that's gonna be so strange, but I know that whatever situation you're in, like that's the situation you're in. And I trust that you will be comfortable with receiving what I have to share, whatever state I'm in. That's so cool. Anyway, life as it is. A narcissist really is driven by other things than you and I. And for as long as we try to make sense of the behavior based on what drives us, what fuels us, what motivates us, like empathy, belonging, like that longing to connect, we are going to be so confused if we try to make sense of the behavior based on how we ourselves are motivated. So that's like one of the keys to start really making sense of things, to take in that there are people in this world who are driven by other things. They're driven by positioning themselves, by power. And the sooner that we realize that we cannot address people based on their healed self that does not yet exist, we get to address people and we get to make well-informed decisions based on reality, how people are really choosing and acting. The sooner we can ground ourselves in that, the less confused we will be and the better we will be off taking a direction forward. So the narcissist will, at first encounter, be a very, they will have us feel very recognized, very seen. If it's a romantic relationship, they're going to make you feel like you're the center of their universe for about 3 months. Yes, there's really a timeline for it. As if you were meant to be. This is your soulmate. They will have you feel like no one has known you and seen you and recognized you more than them. And in a professional relationship, they're gonna make you feel like this was meant to be. It's a true match. Okej, jag kommer. Du kan ta den här. Second. Här. Så. Ta den. Oh. So. They're gonna make you feel like this is just the perfect job for you. And they might give you that grooming time of being very special, feeling like you were chosen, and since they're really in a position of influence, then that's very flattering to you that they gave so generously of their time and focus, to see you. And what happens after that is that in a romantic relationship, about 3 months in, they will place that relationship on the shelf because they already have you. They made, and it's the same thing working with like a destructive cult, or like the leader in a destructive cult influencing the people in it. If a person is flattering you, that is something that you cannot you cannot shy away from that. That is going to affect you. That someone is acknowledging you, seeing you, and a while into the relationship, they've done that. They've made themselves that person that you look for to be confirmed, that you look for to be validated and feel seen. And once they're in that position, like, they have that power. They don't need to. They don't need to work so hard anymore. And it's like they place the relationship on the shelf. There's a shift when it's not it's not that magical anymore, even in business. And I'm gonna do this process one more time. I love you. What did you do to your face, Bella? You painted your face. They are going to have you seek that same feeling out again. They're gonna have you look for that confirmation. Oh my gosh, this is okay. They're gonna have you feel like, to feel so happy and to feel so recognized. You need to make some effort and to like get into that place again. And if you're not behaving the way that they think that, that they appreciate, they'll start punishing you. They'll start making you feel like less than yourself. And it's just a process of, it's like heating the water around that frog in the pot. If you know that mental image, like you heat that water around the frog slowly so that it doesn't really recognize what's going on. Because if it was boiling hot when you placed it in it, it's gonna like jump right out. But here it's a slow process. And what happens is that, like, we all have a innate wisdom. We have a system that tells us what we want, tells us what is in alignment with our values and what is true to us. We have a perspective. We have a belief, a core, an experience, and the narcissist will have us slowly start, denying ourselves. They will have us in that feeling like, no, this is really what I believe in, we're gonna slowly have our yes being no. And it's like drawing, it's like we had that freedom, we had that space. It's like we had that room for ourselves, that circle drawn in the sand around us, and then we're just like drawing those lines closer and closer to ourselves, because we're entering the narcissist's way of seeing things, their story av what is absolut. Det är ett sorts smink, Bella. Vet du vad, jag spelar in en film just nu. En video till mina vänner på LinkedIn. Vill du säga hej så de får se att du har målat i ansiktet? Nej! And that space of air and freedom that you used to have around yourself, where you were allowed to be you, where you were allowed to have your experience, you're feeling the way that you were feeling, thinking the way that you were thinking, your unique, perception of the world, all of that is just slowly taken from you and not being allowed. You're denying yourself. And what happens at, the sad ending of that story with the frog is that the frog dies. And at some point you sense that if I stay in this toxic environment, I am going to die emotionally, spiritually. So there is a point where you instead of self-destructing, like, you get out, but please have that be sooner rather than later. Whew. So there is a point as to where it's enough. And I think that this can be a very long video. We could talk about this for hours. What a narcissistic behavior looks like, and just the way out. And if this is resonating with you, and you are thinking like, oh, I'm in a position where this is really holding me back, this is hurting me, this is, I'm in this place of self-destruction, just reach out to me. The people who already did know that I'm for real, and I really do love to connect and be a support in my own way. So let me know if this is reaching you. When we're in that spot, so for a company, if this is let's say it's a person in a managing position that is really, in this place of destruction, intoxicating the environment, I think I want to end up with the reality, like calling things by their true name. If we're dealing with a true diagnosis, a narcissistic personality that receives treatment and that is open to be treated, if the healthy way of being able to relate, like in relationships, is up here, then the narcissist is here, and with that professional support, they might increase their ability to connect and hopefully enjoy that. But if we're really dealing with the diagnosis, then there's a line that is crossed at some point. And at that point, you get to, as a company, go back to the policy. What is considered professional behavior at our company? And you get to allow actions to have consequences. And yes, you get to determine a employment for the well-being, for the care of the people, because as we begun, some people are driven by other things, by other motivators, and also with care for that person. Because setting boundaries is a gift. It is allowing people to see reality as it is and make their own well-informed decisions, to take on their own healing journey. You know, for as long as we keep people in this fantasy world, they're not gonna find that connection with themselves either. So allow for natural consequences to follow. It's a loving act to let go. And if it is a private relationship, then I encourage you to just like, okay, let's not think about that person. He's probably, or she's probably on your mind constantly anyway, right? So let's just like forget about that person for a second and draw your awareness back to yourself. What is a loving relationship to you? What does it mean to care? How is a person that is caring for you acting? What is that person doing? How does it show? What is respect to you? What is a respectful relationship? The secret to change is focusing your energy towards the new, what you want to fill your being, your mind, your presence. So what is a loving relationship to you? And the more you start to grasp that, the clearer it will become what is not in alignment with it. And the more you understand your own worth, and I'm telling you, you are worthy of healthy relationships, of love and care, the more you understand this, the less willing you will be to be around people who don't. So, yes, from my heart to yours, choose your peace of mind and allow for people and life in general to organize around it. Hold people accountable, because you are important and your well-being is important. This is a long video, and if you stayed with me like you needed this message, so reach out to me if there's anything I can do to support you. That's all. And thank you that I got to share my understanding and some wisdom that came from somewhere. If you take this to heart, I promise you, difficult roads really can lead to beautiful places.